Welcome to the session of Linux basic commands. Here in this session we are going to discuss few commands of Red Hat Linux or CentOS Linux. Let me open a terminal. I will show you how to open a terminal. Either you can open it by right clicking on your desktop and select open in terminal, or applications, system tools and terminals. Let me open a terminal. Here the very first block, that is root, it tells us who is logged onto my computer, and after @ there will be localhost. So this localhost which tells us your computer name, and next to that you will be having one tilde symbol. So that means to say presently you are working with your home directory, and hash represents that the logged in user has root user privileges. Okay, so let us start with hostname. Hostname will tells us the computer name. See, this is my hostname. Since my hostname is localhost, so that is what here it is displaying. That's what here it is showing. And the very next command is who, who. Who means who, it will tell who is logged on to my computer and when they are logged in and on which terminal they have logged on. See, root is logged on to my system. Currently logged in user is root. And let us try with pwd. Pwd means to say it prints the current or present working directory, or we can also call it as print working directory. Right now I am working with my home directory, that is /root. We'll discuss about this directories, home directories and directory structure maybe in our very next session. So /root is the home directory which is defined for the root user. In very simple words, in case of your Windows you will be having one administrator account. In that case, under C drive you may have documents and settings in case of Windows XP, or users in case of Windows 7, right? So under users or under documents and settings you will be having one account, one folder called administrator. So that is your home directory. Similarly here for root we have /root as home directory. For other users, say for example you may have one user called A, you may have one user called B. So for them there will be different home directories. User A home directory will be /home/A, and root for B home directory will be /home/B. We'll discuss about this directory structure later in detail in our next session. So that means to say now hostname tells us the computer name, and who tells us who is logged onto my computer, who is logged into this computer, and next pwd tells us presently on which directory I am working. I am working on my home directory, that is root. So this represents our home directory, this is my computer name, and this is the user who logged into my computer. Let me show you one more best example. There is one more user called Suresha in this computer. Already I have created a username called Suresha, and su is nothing but switch user. So whenever I say su space with some username, it will jump to that user. Now I am logging as Suresha. See, immediately this root has been changed as Suresha, whereas my computer name has not changed, it remains same, right? And my present working directory is root. Root is my present working directory, because of course this tilde means to say /root. Whenever I am working as root user, /root is my home directory. Now since I logged in as Suresha, /root is some other directory for me, so that's why it's showing. Okay, let us log in as root again. See, from root user to if you are logging to any other user, you need not to enter any password, whereas from other user, being an other user, if you want to log in as root user, you need to provide root user passwords. So we have discussed about hostname. Let's make a list of the commands. What under the commands we have learnt. Who, Next we have discussed about pwd, print working directory. Then next switch user, we have discussed about these commands. Fine. Next let me show you one more very interesting command which is called dir. dir is similar, even in case of your Windows also dir is similar. dir command will just list all the files or directories or folders which are there in your present working directory. My present working directory is /root. Under /root I have these many files. I have something called as abcd.html, I have something called as documents, I have something called as music, I have something called as public. I don't know whether it's a file or directory, right? But there is something file, there is one file. So this dir can be replaced with ls. Either I can use dir or I can use ls. So what will happen when I type ls? What will happen when I use ls is it will show in different colors, one thing. And with ls we can use some more options. Let me explain you clearly about this. We have typed some comments, we have used some comments, like say for example we have used who here, and we used pwd, and of course here we have used ls. So whenever I type ls, it is just displaying the contents of my present working directory. These many files are there, these many directories are there. But this command can be followed by some options. Options means to say display few more informations, and that can be followed with some arguments as well. So either you can use only commands, or commands can be followed by options, or commands and options can be followed with some arguments. So in our last case ls is just a command. So now what I am doing is ls can be followed by some option. What is that option? Let me use capital letter F. So what happens? abcd.html, documents, music, there are a lot of things. So there are certain items which are followed by a slash, not backslash. So videos, here in this case videos is followed by slash, whereas abcd.html is not followed by slash. That means to say anything which is followed by slash is a directory. Anything which is not followed by slash is a file. So here I can say capital F is an option. This option we are using with these commands. ls is a commands which will display the contents of the directory, but I need few more explanations. So I can use an option called capital F. ls I can use with a is for all. See, in this case now it is showing few more files. In our last example here it was showing only 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 directories or 9 files, whereas here in this case it's showing we are getting lot of files. And here there are some files which are starting with a dot, See, you can observe here ls minus a means a for all. Display me all the files including hidden files. Any file which is starting with a dot, is a hidden file. So ls will list. When you are listing, consider one more extra option for me, display all the files. Then there is something called as I for inode. Inode is just like, not exactly, but I can say it's just like the address of the file, address of this directory, on which address it is located. Music, this directory is located on the address 921124. We have learned about a, display all informations, and I for inode, and F. Of course we can mix all these options together. And to clear the screen, either you can use clear on your screen, or simply you can use control L or clear. So now ls, let me use one more option called small letter L. L is nothing but list, long list. So now I am getting the same files, abcd, desktop, documents, download, music, same content will be same, but I am getting few more informations here. File permissions, who is the owner of that file and to which group does he belongs, about this owner, to about this group, and about this file permissions, and all those things we are going to discuss in our next session. Okay, and file name and date and time when it is created, and size of the file. Okay, this tells us the size of the file or directory. So we have ls, we have a, we have l, I. You can, of course, you can mix all these options together. There are some more options that we can use with ls. At any point of time, if you require any kind of help, what you can do is you can search the manual pages. We have something called as manual pages. Manual pages are nothing but, I can say, help files. The way you have help file in your Windows, here the way you have help topics, right? So here also we have few helps. So man, manual pages, and type any command like pwd. So what is pwd? It will print the directory. To come out of this, you can use q for quit. Man, ls, it will tell what is ls. Okay, and what and all the options we can use with ls. See, what will happen if I use C, what will happen if I use capital C, what will happen if I use capital letter F. We have used this, right? Yeah. See, classify, append an indicator slash to the entries. What will happen if we use I? Let us see, inode. See, print the index number of each file. Okay, like that. So what options you can use at any point of time regarding any Linux command? You need any kind of help, what you can do is you can search with that man pages, right? So ls minus l can be used as ll, both are same in case of our CentOS and Red Hat. So that is replaced with ll. So it's just like what I can say, it's a shortcut. So instead of using ls slash dash l, you can use ll. So we have discussed about ls commands also with the different arguments, options. Okay, we have not discussed about arguments, that we will discuss in our very next session. Okay, so next command is we are going to discuss with files. So touch is a command which is used to create a file. By using touch abcd, I am creating a file called abcd. It is created. See now, use ls, there is one file which is created, abcd. Touch xyz. Oh, sorry. Touch xyz. Now xyz file has been created. Now what will happen if I use ls capital F? See, since xyz is a file, there is no slash, there is no xyz is not followed by slash, abcd is not followed by slash. Okay, so touch is a command used to create a file. Okay, now there is one file called abcd.html or something. How to read the contents of that file? You can use cat abcd.html. see, this is the content of that file. To read the contents of a text file, you can use command called cat. What is cat? We'll see man pages. Cat concatenate files and prints on a standard output. Okay, so cat can be used to see the contents of a file. Fine. Next, we are going to discuss about date. Date will print the current date and time on your terminal. And our next command is uname. Uname tells us what operating system we are using. We are using Linux. Do you think this information is sufficient enough us to understand? No. Linux, okay, what kind of Linux? Which is the release? What processor, what kind of processor we are using? So what we can do is uname can be followed with some more options called A for all. In most of the commands, Linux commands, any command which is followed by /A, not all the commands, I don't want to say all the commands, but most of the commands which are followed by -A refers to all. See, now we are getting little more information. Linux, and we are using Linux and the machine name with the kernel release architecture and with our processor architecture, and it's registered under GNU under Linux, right? So what is cat? Cat will display the contents of a text file. Okay, now there is one directory called etc. Under etc there is one file called issue. Now let me open that file, let me display the contents of that file. It is showing CentOS release 6.4 final. So I can say issue is a file which is there under /etc, which holds the information about my operating system release. Okay, our next command is, we are going to discuss about vi. Vi is an editor, just like notepad you have in your Windows. Here we have vi. Vi is an most widely used editor. It will open an editor. So we'll discuss about this vi in our next session, where in that session, I will explain you each and everything about vi, how to create a file, how to save it, and all other different things. Next, we are going to use one more very interesting command called who am I. Who am I will tells us who is logged onto your computer. Once again it will tells us who is logged onto your computer. Okay, before that, just now we have opened one more file called cat. Okay, it will display something. What is that? Okay, let me open the same thing, /etc/issue, right? It is opening something. What will happen if I reverse this? Instead of cat, what will happen if I write tac? It's a command again. Instead of cat I am writing tac. Okay, it's just a trick. You can use /etc/issue. What will happen if I use this? So lines will be interchanged. Last line will be printed first, and next line, and next line, and next line, so on. So we have discussed about cat, and we have discussed about vi, not editor, just we have discussed about the command. We have discussed about vi command. And now there is one more command called history. History will tells us what and all the commands we have used till now. Till now I have used these many commands. See, we have used these many commands. History, it will tells us the history, what and all the commands I have used here. So this and all the commands which are related to some configurations. I do different this is about VSFTPD configuration, and this is about NTP configuration, and all those things. In our next session I am going to explain you all these concepts: VSFTPD, NTP, and HTTP, DHCP, and all those things. See, in today's session I think this and all the commands we have used today's session, right? So now I have used one command here, abcd.cat abcd.html. Now I want to repeat the same command once again. So what I can do is, either I can type, right? Either I can type. Suppose in this case command is very lengthy, and this command is very lengthy, and this command is very lengthy. What I can do in this case? So instead of typing that command, what I can do is, see, now I want to type this command, cat abcd.html. Okay, history number is 384. So what I can do is, I can use one exclamatory symbol with 384th history. So now what will happen? Automatically this will fetch 384th history from my history list, and automatically your Linux will type this command and it will gives us the output. So this is what we will, this is the command, and this is what we will get when we execute that command, right? So we'll discuss few more commands in our next session. Thank you.